Hello and welcome to Learn Tagalog Lesson 3-3. In this lesson, we're going to continue on with the topic that we introduced in Lesson 3-2, which was Mag Verbs. Mag Verbs. To review this, let's take a look at the sentences here. Nagtatrabaho ba kayo sa Clark Air Base, Ginong Turner? Okay, if you watched the video before this, lesson 3-2, you should understand what that means. Nagtatrabaho ba kayo sa Clark Air Base, Ginong Turner? Hindi po. Nagtatrabaho ako sa Subic Bay. All right. And we also learned about the Mug verbs. Okay, there's Brother Mug and Brother Nug. Brother Mug says he deals with the infinitive form of the verb, the imperative, and the future. And I went over that in lesson 3-2. The infinitive is things like to cook, to work, to study. Okay? Or you can look at the imperative, which is giving advice, instructions, or making requests or commands. Okay? So we have mug used in both those cases. In fact, both the infinitive and the imperative look identical. Okay. Future. Mug is used for the future also. The difference is that we double up the first syllable. And we're going to be looking at that again in this lesson. Now, Brother Nug, on the other hand, deals with the past and the present. You did something. Okay. It's called the completed aspect in Tagalog. Did something, you cooked or you worked or you studied already. Okay? And then doing something now, cooking, working, studying, etc. Okay? Past, present. That's what nug is used for. Let's work with mug verbs again, just like we did in the last lesson, and then I'll introduce some more sentences in this particular lesson. Okay? Working with mug verbs. First of all, we start with trabaho. Trabaho means work. It's the root word. And then we throw in mug. Mug. Magtrabaho. Magtrabaho. Okay? To work. Gusto kong magtrabaho. Magtrabaho ka. Magtrabaho ka. Okay, go to work. Get to work. Gusto kong magtrabaho. Do you want to work? Do you like to work? Okay. And then we talked about the past or the completed aspect. And what do we bring in? Nug or mug? Nug. Here comes nug. Nagtrabaho. Worked. That's past tense. Nagtrabaho ako sa ibang bansa. Okay? Nagtrabaho ako sa ibang bansa. Worked I at different country or another country. Okay, I worked in another country. Worked abroad, basically. Nagtrabaho siya sa mall. Worked he or she at mall. He or she worked at the mall. Okay? And we have the present tense. To do the present tense, we have to throw that ta in there. And I talked about that again in lesson 3-2. Ta, tra, bajo. Okay, got the little ta in there. Ta, trabajo. We throw in nug again. Nagtatrabaho. That means present tense, working. Working. Nagtatrabaho si Maria sa Kuwait. Nagtatrabaho siya sa mall. And we're going to bring in the future tense, okay, or the contemplated aspect. Tatrabaho is still there. We just throw mug in front of it. Magtatrabaho. Magtatrabaho si Carla sa Pure Gold. Magtatrabaho siya sa Lunes. Okay? And then looking at how all this goes together, we have trabaho, magtrabaho, okay, nug, trabaho. And then we work with the two that double up the first syllable. Nagtatrabaho, working, and then magtatrabaho, will work. Okay, one's present tense and one's future tense. Good. Let's say to work. To work. What do we do there? We put in mag, right? Mag trabaho. To work. Let's say working. Present tense or incompleted aspect. Working. Nagtatrabaho. Nagtatrabaho. Let's say will work. Will work. Very similar to what you just said there, but we use mag. Magtatrabaho. Magtatrabaho. Good. Ask, are you working at the mall? Okay, that's present tense. Now, actually, you could say it two different ways, right? You could be speaking to more than one person, or you could be speaking to one person formally, okay? Or you could be speaking to your friend. So let's look at those. Nagtatrabaho ba kayo sa mall? Okay, working, question mark, you at mall. And the next one is nagtatrabaho ka ba sa mall? Working you, question mark, at the mall. Now I'm not going to go into the ba kayo and kaba. I've covered that in preceding lessons. Okay? What I want to focus on is that nagtatrabaho. So working you at the mall. Are you working at the mall? Say, I am working at Subic Bay. I am working at Subic Bay. Nagtatrabaho ako sa Subic Bay. Nagtatrabaho ako sa Subic Bay. Say, I worked at Subic Bay. Okay? Do you remember that one? Nagtrabaho ako sa Subic Bay. Nagtrabaho ako sa Subic Bay. Nagtrabaho ako sa Subic Bay. Say, I will work at Subic Bay. We're going to use mug, and we're going to double up the first syllable. Try it. Magtatrabaho ako sa Subic Bay. Magtatrabaho ako sa Subic Bay. Try to say, I want to work. Now, do you remember how to say I want? Gusto ko. Remember that? We're going to use the ng, nung linker in there. Nung. Gusto kong magtrabaho. Gusto kong magtrabaho. I want to work. Okay, let's look at these three. They're all using Mag-aral. Now, we covered Mag-aral in the last lesson, and that means to study, right? To study. Now, we know mabuti, mabuti also, okay? Mabuti like mabuti naman, you know, kumusta kayo? Mabuti naman. That means fine or well. So when they say mag-aral ng mabuti, remember mag-aral can also mean a suggestion or a command or something like that, a request, okay? What this means is study well. Study well. That nung in there is the linker between the two. Study well. Study well. Let's listen to Maria pronounce this.
Mag-aral ng mabuti.
And again.
Mag-aral ng mabuti.
Okay. Now I do have another website called TagalogPhrases.com. TagalogPhrases.com. It's all one word. TagalogPhrases.com. And on that site, I have about 5,300 audio recordings of Maria. Okay? And this is one of the things that she says on there. You can search for those. You can actually go to that site and search for example, aral. Okay, and you'll find other examples of that being used, and you can listen to her pronounce these things. Okay, let's go to the next one. Mag-aral tayo. Let's listen to her.
Mag-aral tayo. Mag-aral tayo.
We know tayo means we, inclusive. It includes the person you're speaking to. Mag-aral, okay? To study, we. Basically, you're saying, let's study. Let's study. It's a suggestion. Let's study, okay? The next one. Mag-aral tayong kumanta.
Mag-aral tayong kumanta. Mag-aral tayong kumanta.
Okay. It's again, there's that tayo, which is we. Let's study. What's the kumanta? That means to sing. To sing. Let's study to sing. Okay. I put the in there with the red letters because I wanted to bring out the idea that that is a verb. That's another type of verb. There's mag verbs, verbs. There's a lot of different types of verbs, but these two are really big, okay? Mag and That means to sing, and we'll be looking at verbs later on. I do have at the bottom there magtagalog.com. That's another one of my Tagalog sites, Mag Tagalog. I use that site for helping people find resources on the internet to help you learn Tagalog, okay? Because these lessons that I'm doing, they'll get you going, okay? But you really need to read Tagalog. You need to listen Tagalog, not just speak it, okay? It's fun to be able to speak it early on, but believe me, you'll want to also listen. You'll want to hear the language for, I don't know, I'll listen to it for an hour at a time, just listening to it. I like to listen to it in the background, just listening to Tagalog, so it just sinks into my brain. All right. So you might want to check out that site, magtagalog.com, and see what I have to say there. Okay. Let's look at some more of these. Nag-aaral pa ako. Pa is basically means still or yet. Okay? Studying yet I. What would that be? I'm still studying. Okay? Studying still or studying yet I. Let's listen to Maria.
Nag-aaral pa ako. Nag-aaral pa ako.
Good. Studying still I. I'm still studying. What is she studying? Nag-aaral ako ng Tagalog. Let's listen to that.
Nag-aaral ako ng Tagalog.
She's actually a native speaker, so I doubt that she's studying Tagalog, believe me. However, she's a great speaker of English too. Very, very good. Nag-aaral ako ng Tagalog. And let's listen to the next one. Mag-aral ako. That's very similar to the two before it, right? But it has mug instead of nug. So what's the difference? Mag-aaral ako. Will study. I will study.
Mag-aaral ako. Mag-aaral ako.
Mag-aaral ako. Okay, good. So, let's take a look at the next one. Saan ka nagtatrabaho? We know that nagtatrabaho is present tense, right? Working. Where you working? Basically, where are you working? Saan ka nagtatrabaho? Where? Saan means where. Saan ka nagtatrabaho? And then it goes on, magtatrabaho ka ba sa mall? Now, look at that. We have mug. Very similar to nug. Just that one letter makes a big difference. If it was a letter N, nug, nagtatrabaho ka ba sa mall? Working you at the mall? That's not what it's saying, though. It's saying mug with that M in the front. Okay? Mug. So it's asking, will work you at the mall? Will you work at the mall? Okay? Magtatrabaho ka ba sa mall? And then the next one is magtrabaho ka naman. Magtrabaho ka naman. What does that mean? Magtrabaho. To work. You. Isn't that more like a command? Magtrabaho ka. Go to work. Why is naman in there? We've seen that before, that word. Remember that? Mabuti po naman. Mabuti po naman. I'm fine. Okay? In this case, naman is a softener. Okay? You're telling somebody, go to work. You know, what if they're complaining? I don't ever have any money. I'm bored. I'm this, I'm that. Well, then go to work. You know? But you want to say it not as a command, but kind of softly. You use naman in this case. Okay? Naman is an interesting word. This means go to work. You know, hey, why don't you just go to work? That's a suggestion, a kind suggestion. Okay, so hopefully that makes some sense to you. That concludes lesson 3-3. We'll continue on with the dialogue that we've been looking at in lesson 3, starting in lesson 3-4. Okay, so hope to see you there, and I hope you find these videos interesting and helpful. And if you do, please subscribe below if you're on YouTube. I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat.